This is my 24th video on my work with a small 00 gauge layout. See part 1 for my reasons for doing this and my lengthy series on my N-gauge railway modelling for smaller and more complex scenery and smaller scale trains running. This part deals with my slightly rocky route to obtaining a rolling road for loco testing and demonstration. First with the HM Loco Tester, which didn't work too well, then with the DCC Concepts Rolling Road, which actually combined quite well with parts of the HM Tester. I had been considering perhaps getting a rolling road for some time. I'd seen various videos on YouTube that other folks made using rolling roads, and it looked as though this could be a good way for both checking the running of locos, functioning of motors, valve gear, etc., and for making demonstration videos of locos. So when I saw this HM Loco Tester available for buy it now at a fairly reasonable price on eBay UK, I went ahead and clicked to buy it. The unit arrived in its original packaging. The packaging was somewhat worn, but the unit itself appeared almost unused. I wonder why. There was no documentation as such with the unit other than what was on the back of the box, as seen here. Here's the unit taken out of its box and on my workbench. And here are the individual pieces separated. The main unit consists of a wooden base across which a single continuous length of OOHO gauge track runs. The track runs at the upper level at the top of the unit for half of the length, and then is bent down and runs for the other half of the length about half an inch below the top of the unit. The unit comes with a connection wire with fish plates on one end and spade connectors on the other, and with 5 roller pieces. Here's a close-up of the roller pieces and the connection wire. Note that the frames of the roller pieces are made of continuous pieces of metal. One side of each piece is covered with an insulating material so they won't short out the voltage when placed on the rails. But this means that each roller piece can only pick up power and pass it to the loco on one side. This is a basic design flaw, which coupled with other problems prevents this unit from really working usefully. Here's an additional close-up of the instructions on the back of the box. And here's the other end of the box back. As noted, the roller pieces can only pass power on one side. If there are pickups on the part of the loco that rests on the upper rails, those will be able to pick up power from both rails, but each set of wheels on a roller will only get power on one side. This means, for example, if you are working with a 6-coupled tank engine like this, or even a simpler 060, you will have to put 2 roller pieces facing one way and one facing the other, which will mean that you are relying on a single pickup to get power from one of the rails. When you combine this with the fact that the roller pieces don't sit down on the rails very well, this means that it is quite difficult to get a loco to actually run properly on the rollers of this unit. Note that I've got a pencil underneath the loco here, and this is in an attempt to push the roller units down and get better contact. Here's a video of that loco running on the HM rollers. This is the kit-built Dealey flat iron, and that's in front there you can see the cheap little Batman controller I'm using at the moment. If I really use the rolling road much, I should probably get a better controller. There are strips of what look like draft excluder foam along the sides of the wooden frame where the lower part of the rails run. I assume these strips are meant to stop the roller pieces from moving around, but in practice I found that the strips tended to push the roller pieces off the rails, making them pop up as shown here. Here's a smaller 040 loco on the HM rollers. I have at least managed to stop the rollers popping up for now. Again, the loco is only getting power from one wheel on each side. Here's video of this loco. So this is the little 040 LMS Pug running on those rollers, and it's just about managing to do it, but as you'll see, it doesn't succeed in doing it too reliably, and this is a very reliable loco on the rails. Any unreliability is not the fault of the loco, it's the fault of the H&M unit. installed now. I'm just poking it to improve the contact, because they just don't make good contact. And of course, as I say, you're only getting power with one axle from each rail, because you have to have one roller facing one way and one roller facing the other. So you just don't get, as you can see, you just don't get reliable, even with a reliable loco, you don't get reliable running with this HM unit. You can see the rollers are tending not to sit down well, you see, even there. They just have a tendency to come off a bit off the rails and then not make contact. Here's a tender-driven loco on the HM unit. Since the tender wheels are driven, they need to rest on the rollers. The loco, not being driven, can rest on the upper track. Pickup is not really a problem here, as the tender picks up on one side and the loco on the other side, and with this arrangement all of the pickups can be used on the HM unit. Of course, seeing tender-driven locos running on a rolling road is a bit boring, as only the tender wheels turn, and that can hardly be seen. So this one actually runs quite reliably. This is the Airfix Fowler 4F, but you can hardly see that the tender wheels are tending. If you feel it, you can just see underneath the tender where the gear starts to move there. Now it's going in reverse. But at least it doesn't cut out. So, I wasn't particularly happy with the HM Loco Tester, as it was barely functional, and I saw the DCC Concepts Rolling Road advertised. Although described as a rolling road, the DCC Concepts product is not supplied with any frame or track. The idea is just that you put the roller units provided onto your own track, either on your layout itself or on a piece of test track on a bench. No documentation came with the DCC Concepts product, other than what you see here printed on the packaging. This product can be bought as a set of 2, 4, 8 or 12 roller units. I first thought of just buying 4, since I don't have any locos with more than 4 driven axles, but then I thought it would be good to have extra rollers to support bogies and pony trucks, even though those wouldn't actually be turning, so I decided I'd better get 6. But then 8 weren't much that more in price than 6, and I thought I might possibly use more than 6, especially if I used the product for N-gauge, so I ordered the set with 8 roller units, as seen here. 6 of the roller units have already been taken out of the packaging, as seen here. Here are the DCC units out of the packaging. I gather the pieces on the left are included so that you can supply power to the centre pickups of 3-rail locos. Not something I expect to be doing, but a nice touch making the product usable for folks who are running 3-rail. In the centre are 2 of the roller units as they come, the top one right side up, the bottom one upside down. The roller units come set up with 16.5mm spacers for OOHO gauge track, but they can easily be converted to other gauges using the alternative spacers shown at right, and what's shown there is only half of the spacers that come with the set. To convert, you would simply undo the small screws shown on the bottom of the unit, separating the plastic spacer from the metal pieces with the rollers, and then reattach the roller pieces to a new plastic spacer of the appropriate size using the same screws. The alternate spacers provided are 9mm, 12mm and 18.6mm, allowing the product to be used for all common gauges from N to EM. The DCC Concepts roller units sit very comfortably on the track, unlike the HM ones, since there is a clear right angle between the sides and the spacers, and the bottoms of the sides are completely flat. Power is passed on both sides at all times. The rollers themselves are much freer moving than the HM ones, as the DCC Concepts rollers are mounted on proper bearings, while the HM ones aren't really. If you move your finger over the DCC Concept rollers, there is absolutely no resistance at all, which isn't at all the case with the HM rollers. I'm not sure if the foam strips along the side are serving any purpose with the DCC Concepts rollers. I might be better off just to remove those foam strips. Here's a kit-built, loco-driven LMS2P loco on the DCC Concepts rollers in the HM frame. I found that this arrangement worked fine. The DCC Concepts rollers are perhaps just a hair higher than the HM ones, but they fit in the HM frame quite well. Following is some video of a couple of different engines running on this arrangement. I'm fairly happy with what I've got now, although for what I've spent for it I could probably have got the Hornby Rolling Road, which might have been better. Still, this version seems to work pretty well, and there is the additional plus that I could also use the DCC Concepts rollers for N-gauge. So here's some more video of the final version of my Rolling Road in operation with various locomotives. So this is the kit-built LMS2P, very heavy locomotive, not a good runner, this locomotive. In fact, it didn't run at all when I got it because of loose wiring, and I had to repair it, so it's, in a sense, perhaps not a best test of the rollers because you can see how uneven the running is there. It's just not, at low power it's not running at all evenly. That's not because of the DCC Concepts rollers, that's because this is just not a good running loco. Maybe I can achieve something by servicing it, I don't know. I didn't build it, I bought it used as a second-hand locally as a kit-built locomotive. It's a nice heavy locomotive, but unfortunately it doesn't run reliably. It's not picking up at all in this case from the tender, but it only picks up on the loco. There it goes in reverse. It actually possibly runs a little bit better in reverse than it does forwards. But it's certainly not going to achieve a nice even crawl or whatever. It's not a well-running loco, really, and never has been. This is also a kit-built loco, a Dealey flat-iron tank engine, which I bought off eBay in this case. It's also been built from a kit. It's maybe slightly better running loco, but still not very well running. If you look at those front steps there, you can see, if you look closely, there's a piece of transparent tape stuck on the back of them. The reason for that is that the power was arcing from the coupling rod to those steps when the loco ran originally when I got it, because the body's all metal and the coupling rod's are live because the wheels are picking up, so you were getting sparks jumping all the time from the from coupling rods to those steps on both sides, which was hardly very good. These are the sort of problems you get with kit-built locos. Hopefully you shouldn't get that sort of problem with a commercially made loco. So for the moment, I've just put pieces of tape onto the steps to stop that happening. But this loco, it's running, well, it's running as well on the rolling road as it does on the track. It's not a great runner, again, but it runs okay. And you can see where I'm using the rollers to support the bogie there. It's not really essentially necessary, but it makes it look better. Now this, on the other hand, is a brand new Bachmann Stanier Mogul loco that's just been taken out of its packaging. It's not even been run in. So as you can see, this is quite a bit different. This runs a lot more smoothly. And it's a lot more interesting to see as well. I mean, this is the kind of loco that really the rolling road is ideal for, because it's got external cylinders, so you can see the valve gear working and everything, and you can test it and make sure the valve gear is running properly. And really, I mean, this loco really, given it hasn't even been run in yet, runs very well, really. I'm just trying it in reverse there. I'm not using the world's best controller. I mean, this is a cheap old Bachmann controller. If I'm going to use the rolling road a lot, it would probably be better if I got a better controller to work with it, because if you're trying to test how well a loco runs, it doesn't help if you're using a cheap old controller that's not very good. But still, we got to, you can see that now we're getting a pretty decent crawl out of that. Not a bad crawl at all, especially considering it hasn't been run in. So that's, as I say, that's a brand new current production loco, the Bachmann Stanier Mogul. So that gives you an idea how something like that can run on this DCC Concepts Rolling Road in this case, in the H&M Loco testing frame. And again, I've got the tender. Now this does have tender pickups, so that's picking up from the tender as well. I've got the tender resting on the upper track, and it'll be picking up electricity from there as well, power from there as well. And I've got the front pony truck sitting on rollers. It doesn't pick up from the front pony truck. If it did, it could get power from there. But anyway, so there you are. There's my rolling road, and I'm reasonably happy with it, although it wasn't necessarily the most economical purchase. But you'll doubtless see more of it in future videos.